It was good. Scored a lot of points in a lot of areas. That's all that really matters. When you rely on one trick pony, that's never any good. But the good thing is we were becoming a little bit more, I guess, multi-dimensional as a team. You got jumpers, scoring, throwers. I still think we missed out on a few, like Tara Davis being injured. Definitely didn't help. But her coming back and just being able to score that many points just so first meet back was actually pretty impressive. Throwers. We have winners in just about every event area. And I think that's really what matters. Just in case one thing goes bad, you get some backup, some things to protect you to ensure that success of the team continues on. Because if you just depend on only sprinters and they're having a bad weekend, all of a sudden you could be dead. I think that's why we scored so many points too. I didn't even know what the Big 12 record was, but we actually pulled some people off the 3K and had Kenny Simon back up a little bit, trying to save her legs for the 4x4. So it's actually pretty exciting.
Speaking of Tara, obviously it's kind of a rough start to her time here, but how have you kind of kept her engaged and focused over this last year with her actually being able to practice, but not essentially not being able to compete and then getting injured early on this season?
Lots and lots and lots of TLC. She's the absolute monster competitor. But she's still like a 12-year-old at heart. So I spent a lot of time with her, just making sure that even training, she was at practice every day. We met every couple of days to talk about the goals and the progress. And our trainers, medical staff were awesome. We kept pounding, just giving her stuff to do in the pool, in the water, and then kept her engaged. And first day back was shaky, and then I think she only had a day and a half in the sand and a day and a half in the hurdles. So you can just imagine what somebody like that could do if they have a full gamut of regular training day to day. But yeah, she's not your typical sort of function on our own type student athlete. I call her my adopted child because actually she probably is my adopted child. I've spent a lot of time with her. She's just a sweetheart, but she's like every superstar athlete. They require a little bit more TLC than the non-superstars.
She's pretty hungry, isn't she?
Yes, she wants to do well. I mean, she really wants to do well for this university, which is really cool. She's really passionate about it. And she sent me a picture when she was 8 or 9, 10 years old. She came to a track and field camp. She had the biggest teeth, the biggest bunny teeth ever. She's 10 years old, huge head, little bitty body, but she was in the elevator with grandma and grandpa that took that picture eons ago. So and she had the horns up, so she's wanted to do this for a long, long time.
Are you concerned about the coronavirus scare? And I don't know if there's any updates to give on the relays, but is that a is there are the relays in jeopardy? I guess.
As far as I know right now, everything is all set to go. Of course I am. I just don't want, you're responsible for 90 plus student athletes and, 12 plus staff. Just want to make sure everybody's safe. I'm just not an expert. Since I'm not, then I got to trust the people who are expert in making the right decision. Sometime in this world that make you wink an eye a little bit. But for me, I just try to keep the kids functioning positively and then tell them that there's people who are really, really, really smart and really good at this and they're making a decision on what they think is in our best interest and safe and we're going to take the precaution, the wash your hands and all this stuff and do whatever we can do to make sure the kids stay safe. But I don't really go beyond that. I just look after my kids and make sure that they go from A to B and that they're safe. Things like trying to not take a public flight, maybe try to charter, that's probably a little bit safer. And then giving them the wipes and wiping off the seats, all you can really do is do that. But, I'm kind of a person that believe that, I'm not going to lock myself in my room and freak out in fear. I'm going to go out there and do what I can, but I'm not going to lock myself up. I just want the kids to make good decisions and protect themselves the best way they can, but I don't like to live in fear.
So right now, you wouldn't be in a situation where, granted, nationals are nationals, where you'd hold athletes back from going somewhere else to a meet outside of Austin.
No, I wouldn't. I'd probably keep them with me if I do anything. So if we're going to somewhere for spring break, they'd be coming with me, and I'd look look after them and try to make the best decision possible. And then we would trust whatever the university recommends. So if our president recommended we don't, then we wouldn't. I'm sure he's going to have a lot more information that wouldn't be available to me. And that's really what it is. It's I just try to stick to looking after my kids and protect them the best way I can, and trust the people who are above me to make the best decision. And whatever decision they make, we'll go. So if they recommend that we don't, we won't. It's just the way it is. I'm going to trust them because that some of the information they might have, they might not even give me. So if they recommend that we don't, we won't, and that's the way we're going to go forward.
Is there a date that, we've got to make a decision by this date, with so many people traveling, coming in?
Not that I've heard. Yeah, I know some of the other institutions made some different decisions, but here I just, our president is going to be the one making that decision, and if he decides, and so forth, so on. If UT decide that they don't think it's in our best interest, then I'm going to oblige and make sure we follow suit.
Yeah, but have you heard from any schools or athletes that don't think I'm coming?
No, I haven't. The only one I've heard some things about Harvard, but that's really all I've heard about. That the only incident. But all the other schools, everybody's good to go. I think most of them are actually flying over now. So some schools are in transition there. And I got an email from the NCAA as well saying that they monitored, they made some decisions, they looked around, and that they felt that the environment was safe, and that the venue and the city is a safe place to host the NCAA championship. But yeah, we got that email probably maybe a couple of weeks ago that they thought everything was, as of right now, all set, and that they were in touch with the health organization, and that so far so good, that they hadn't had anything that would bring some concerns.
How many of your athletes are concerned about the Olympic trials?
That's probably a little bit more because I think of the location of the Olympics. They've already canceled the World Indoor Championship. Was supposed to be in China, so that's already been canceled. And there's been some international competition, mainly in Italy, who've been canceled. I think there was one in Grenada who was postponed. I just don't have enough information to intelligently, tell you what I think or why. I mean, that maybe they don't want the people flying in with potential. So I'm not sure what the decisions are entailed. Most of the time these people don't tell you what really is going on. So I just know what I know because that's what I've been told.
It changes so fast, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they also telling you, some schools are talking about canceling classes the rest of the semester, online?
Yeah, I've heard about that as well, and I've heard some of them have already done it. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's just, heck, you can cross the street and get run over. So, it's like you just want to make the best precautions. You just want to look both ways before you cross, and I look at this the same way. Just look both ways before we cross. Try not to shake people's hand and get you some Purell and wipe your seats in the plane, and somebody's coughing, steer clear, and just try to be educated enough to know, because sometimes you can start freaking out about things that are not even symptoms of the coronavirus. So I just tell them that, just know enough to protect yourself and make a good decision, and we've done enough research to let the kids know this is what you need to watch out for. If you see this, steer clear, and et cetera, et cetera.
What do you see John Burt's future as?
Pardon me?
What do you see John Burt's future as?
I mean, the hurdles in the U.S. is World War II, man. It's might be top 15 in the world. It might be 12 Americans. It's an event that's just difficult. You got some events, some of the distance events. You make the standards, you're going automatically. And the hurdles, and the women's hurdles, is pure insanity. So John Burt has an event that's a difficult event to attain success in the U.S. because we're just so good. There's so many Americans in the hurdles. I want to say there were 12 out of the top 15 that were Americans. So ideally, you could be top 10 in the world and even make the U.S. team. Actually, you can be top 4 in the world and make the U.S. team. It just happens. I mean, the world champion was Grant Holloway, just graduated from college. If Daniel Roberts stays on his feet, looks like he's going to get a medal as well. So, but I think John could do some damage because he has that football mentality. And sometimes it plays against him a little bit. It's just by hell or high water, I'm getting through these hurdles. And that's probably not the best way to negotiate the barriers. But that's something that can really pay dividends if you're not afraid to sort of running into them. I think he can maybe be a professional athlete in track and field at some point. Um, but because there's so many good U.S. hurdlers, you got to find a sponsor who's going to want to invest money. And U.S. hurdler number 19, does somebody want to do that? I'm just not sure. He's going to have to basically make the U.S. Olympic team or be pretty darn close to get any chance to continue on. And that's kind of what the goal now. That's what he really wants to do. And my goal is not to limit athletes. My goal is just to serve. So whatever his plans are, now he might not like the plan that I put in place. It might involve a lot more pain and that he wants to deal with. But right now he wants to try it for the Olympic team, and I'm going to oblige him, and I'm going to train the living heck out of him to give him the best chance possible.
Talk about Leo and kind of trace the recruitment of him and how he's first on the scene.
Oh, sorry, the Nuke Bauer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leo basically visited 3 schools, and we were number 3. The third one he visited, and he fell in love with Texas right away. It was actually pretty cool that I think he knew he wanted to be here as he was leaving, because as he was leaving, he shot me a text and told me how excited he was, and were asking me questions about next year. It's like, well, we haven't signed yet, man. But so I think he's excited about being here, and him being successful is going to help. Hopefully that will open the door to more. Obviously, the more you can have a open door to superstars from other countries, the better it is. So yeah, I'm fired up that he's doing well. There's always a catch-22 with those guys, because if you get a superstar from Germany, they do terrible. That country's not going to send you anybody else. So you better make sure you take care of their world class. So I mean, he was number 1 in the world for his age group. So we have to make sure he does well.
And what were the other 2 schools that you looked at?
I believe it was Iowa and Minnesota.
Oh, in Minnesota. How long have you been tracking him and maybe in on recruiting him?
Quite a bit. I think probably a year and a half. Yeah, Leo's a behemoth of a guy. He looks like a power forward. He's humongous. Like, he stands there on the starting line, and the other guys look like dwarfs compared to him. He's just really big, and he moves really well for a big guy. Very athletic too, and great personality. Very, very likable.
Yeah. Do you do other sports too?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think so track and field in Europe is like football and soccer. So it's not like you're going for a second-class citizen type sport. They don't even call it track and field; they call it athletics.
Yeah.
So in Europe, we embody all of athletics. It's not just track and field.
Has he surprised you how well he's done so fast as a freshman?
No, I mean, I thought he could have done better in some events. I mean, don't forget, he just got here in January, so we're behind. Where we would be with him would be much further. He lost August, September, October, November, December. So he lost all that in training and preparation, and just being able to come off in January and do that well is impressive. But he'll be even better by outdoors or by next year.
Yeah, and why did he come in midterm instead of the start?
When you recruit foreigners, by the time you get all the paperwork and all the stuff done, it could take a little bit. And then the schools in Europe, some of them finish in December. So their second semester is not until December. Their first semester, they have a different system than ours. We start in August, they start in January. So when he graduated, it was December.
I guess, are you hopeful that you guys will have Sam back during the outdoors, or is he kind of
Right now I want Sam back to be as good as he can be. So whatever that is, would I love to have Sam back outdoor? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but if we're going to push him to do that just to get him back, I wouldn't do that. I mean, if he was just, a low-level kid, I'd feel different about it. But a kid that could potentially be a major factor in the U.S. down the road, you want to make the right decision for the long term. So love to have him back, but I've already told everybody that let's make sure that he comes back and stays back, whatever that means. That's actually progressing much faster than I thought. He's going on crutches and going to start riding bike. I'm like, holy crap! This medicine has moved way faster than I have. They're much better, much more advanced. He was on a scooter. Now it's like a few weeks he'll be on bicycle. So I mean, he got fortunate too. I mean, as bad as it was, he could have been far worse. So I'm just thankful that it wasn't career ending. I mean, Sam is just absolutely a wonderful young man. And, not that you want anybody to get hurt, but the ones like that who do everything right, you just sort of as a coach, you'd like to kick yourself in the shin when that happened to a kid that's just so good at everything and does everything you ask him to do to the highest of integrity. So yeah, I was disappointed because I really wanted him to do well.
Time for two more.
How would you describe Julian Alford and her performance?
Yeah, Julian. That's that little rocky road until she got here, but I think she's kind of bounced around a little bit. I think she left from home, went to Jamaica to train for a year or two, and then so her being successful is good for her. I think shows that her parents have made some sacrifices to get her to this point, but she's still, in shock that how well she's doing. I mean, she's yeah, big time. Yeah, she was Big 12 Athlete of the Year, and she was like, "What am I supposed to do? I mean, you're supposed to take the award, and I know that, but like, I'm just a little overwhelmed by this, So she's another one. I mean, I tell her to do 10, she's gonna ask me, is 12 better or 15 better? She does just everything right. She's like Sam, good student, commit herself academically, never miss class, never miss anything, and then never miss a rep, never miss a set, and she's always there on time, taking care of business. Very disciplined. She was was not your superstar elite out of high school, so and she came to UT at 17 years old. So she's just maturing. She's going to be really, really good. I mean, keep herself together. It could be a pretty special weekend.
So you have some athletes that can win their individual events. What's it going to take this weekend to get the team for you?
I had to tell them whatever it took to get you there. I think sometimes you go to an NCAA championship and, woo, you're going to reinvent the wheel and you're going to have a big show. That's typically a beginning of the downfall. So I tell them, if you do exactly what you've done to get to the NCAA championship, that's going to be plenty, and then some to be successful. It's when the athletes think that they gotta if John Bird thinks he has to PR to make the finals, we're in trouble. He just have to do the exact John Bird that got there, and in NCAAs, I tell the kids in major competition, you really depend on your opponents to choke because they put so much pressure on themselves. Because sometimes, like if you come in there at 7:12 as Julian, and you say I got to run 6:99 to make the finals, then you push so hard, try so hard, and you fall apart. If you stay contained, if you do the best you, I mean that's really all you could do. If you do the very best you possible, let them go out there and try to be Superman if they want to, and then as they try to get these superstar performances, you just continue to stay there. And every coach will tell you, athletes start trying really, really hard, and mechanics fall apart. And they fall apart, and then the outcome is different. So if we're just going to do the best us possible, it'll be pretty good for us. I just want them to do whatever it took to get there. Let's run exactly that time. We'll be okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.